Recording, yeah?
Yeah, because then I can choose it. But look. Me and Bambi love it. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am really excited about this project. I actually redid this dresser back in November, and I've been so excited to finally have it edited and show you guys how I got this completely refinished. Originally, this was a client piece. My client was hiring me to paint it all black, but then she ended up getting a new dresser set, so she ended up selling this to me, so I got to do whatever I wanted with it. And I am in love with the veneer pattern, so I wanted to make sure to get it all the way down to bare wood so that I could choose what I wanted to do with it, and I'm leaning towards a paint wash. Here's a couple of the issues that I'm seeing. There's that massive chunk that's missing, as well as the front of the drawers are all veneer, so it's a really thin piece of wood, and I'll go more into that. So I don't want to sand through the veneer and accidentally ruin that. So I've got to be really careful when I'm refinishing this set, and yeah. What I've been doing is I actually sanded down the entire top of the dresser, and I sanded down one of the cabinets to see how it looked, and it actually turned out great. I love the sanded version. I'm definitely going to go with a paint wash, and I'm going to go with a paint wash for the entire thing. So what I also did is I am repairing the damaged area on the veneer. So as you can see, I kind of have a whole big like jimmy rig going on where I have taped down the broken veneer piece after applying a little bit of glue on the inside. I taped it down so it's all smooth, and then I clamped. Like everything is clamped, every angle, every shot, every spot, every damage. So what I'm hoping is when I remove all of these clamps, that piece is going to be somewhat flush and I can just sand down whatever isn't. So we're going to remove that, but we'll see how this goes. A couple of tips for clamping down. I recommend putting on some masking tape once you've glued it down. It'll help keep it flushed and also keep from glue sticking to the clamps, which will then pull your piece back off. Okay, so that's really not that bad. For considering how horrible it was before, you honestly can't even tell it that it was this whole entire chunk that was ripped out. That really is not bad. I'm going to sand it so that the finish is flushed, and then touch-ups like this, I'm going to do some wood filler and then color match those. But yeah, rather than having to repair this whole big chunk and color match, this is a really helpful solution to be more efficient. Then I'm going to sand down the repaired areas with 120 grit so that I can smooth out any issues that kind of press up or any noticeable bumps when you run your hand over it. In general, when using a power sander, you want to try and keep the sander flat to the surface so that you don't create divots by accidentally being too heavy-handed on a certain part rather than another part. Also, if you haven't used a sander before, it will irritate your hand for the first couple of times, but you'll get used to it. So this set is a gorgeous set. I love this dresser and the veneer on it. And we're going to talk a little bit about veneer. Because it's veneer on the drawer fronts, I want to make sure to sand very lightly, because veneer is a very thin sheet of wood with, typically they have a gorgeous pattern on them. And a couple of ways that you can tell is actually by looking at the sides of the drawer. So right here, you can see the difference of where it cuts off. Because veneer is such a thin sheet of wood, you want to make sure to apply really light pressure when sanding. Otherwise, you're going to burn through that veneer. Burnt through veneer is when you apply too much pressure in sanding and you actually go through the thin sheet of wood and now you can see what is underneath it. And so here's an example of burn through veneer. This is gonna require touch up now, because if I leave it like this and stain my piece, paint wash my piece, whatever I decide to do, I'm gonna be able to tell the difference between the veneer itself and the actual material underneath it. So it'll look tacky, so you wanna make sure to apply very light pressure to avoid as many touch-up spots as possible. I know I just said it, but I want to reiterate, sand lightly when you're going through veneer. Try to start with 180 or even 220 so that you don't burn through. Burning through will lead to a lot of touch-ups. After you get all of the flat surfaces sanded down, you're going to go in with a carbide scraper and some hand sanding, and this is the most vigorous part of the entire process. It is incredibly time consuming. You will feel like you're losing your mind because you want to get every single nook and cranny and groove and curve, because you want to make sure that all of that original stain is off so that the paint wash has a bare surface to start with. I'm gonna lose my mind. This is always the stage of the project where I'm ready to quit and go back to an office job. I'm going to lose my mind. But it gets better, guys. It does get better. There are definitely highs, but this is the low. This is But look. Profile picture. So pretty. I can't wait. I want it to be over. Barely anybody answers my question of the week on my videos, so I'm gonna make this one the best one yet, because engagement is engagement. What is your favorite cheese? This might get controversial because I feel like there are so many good answers, but you need to make a great enough argument for why yours is better than the rest. I'm personally going to have to go with nacho cheese. I don't have a good enough argument because mozzarella's right there with it. Now that I have all of the freaking grooves sanded down and hand sanded and all of the details are sanded off too, I'm going to go in with 180 and sand all of the surface using a foam pad or a flat sander to get it ready for the paint wash. Paint wash is a 1-to-2 mixture, 1 part paint, 2 parts water, and that's so that you can apply it on and then you're going to wipe it off before it dries. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys the difference between paint washed and non-paint washed. That is bare wood, and so if I were to get that wet, it's gonna have an orange tint to it, but it's a little more orange than I'm wanting. I want more of a natural beige kind of look. And so this is it paint washed. So the difference is very noticeable, and this is it completely dry. So I want it to stay that color when I top coat and not have it look like this while top coated. I want it to be able to dry out to the naturalish tan color. So that's why the paint wash is so important. I have tried so many different ratio mixtures, and the one that I prefer the best is 1 part paint, 2 parts water. I do also use 1 part paint, 1 part water. I noticed that it doesn't get super thick like normal paint, and it's also not too watery where it doesn't stay and absorb into the wood. This is the ratio that I prefer. I know a lot of people do 1 part paint, 6 parts water, so totally up to you. Figure out what works best for you. Next, this is a new product for me. It's these Mohawk Blend All sticks, and it comes in a bunch of different colors. And what I've learned is that it is really, really easy to make touch-ups with. So because it has such a variety of colors, I like to go in with the one that's the closest to the color, and then after the top coat, I'm gonna do the next closest color or even the same color and just go in there and dab it on and then rub it with my finger. Is amazing. Like, look at this little spot just disappear. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Why didn't I do this sooner? Golly gravy. Just that little part. Again, just going over it with the blend all stick. And then just rubbing my finger so that it's not chunky. This is one of my most highly recommended products that I use. It's my favorite top coat. It's Bear's Polyurethane, which is a water-based polyurethane with the satin finish. I really recommend it because I think that it goes on really smooth. It self-levels, so if there are any issues or bumps, it is a huge, huge game changer. I think it's a really high quality product. I get mine from Home Depot, so I would recommend checking your hardware store. Also, these strainers are really cheap at any hardware store or even on Amazon. You can get them in bulk packages, but it'll help remove any dust or debris from your top coat so that that doesn't also spray on. I have a lot of more in-depth tutorials on using a paint sprayer. I'm going to link my mismatched bedroom set that I did last year. That's going to be my most in-depth tutorial, but a quick tip, when you are doing it, stay the same distance away the entire time and overlap 50% to get the smoothest finish. Okay, you guys, one last look at the before. Here was that dark old finish with the really noticeable veneer, which I thought was a lot more hidden. And here is the after. I love how the paint wash turned out. I think that the lighter look really emphasizes the veneer. And if you saw this in person, you would really be able to see the depth that this veneer has. And I am absolutely in love. It gives me chills, and I just wish I could keep this piece, but I am looking to sell it. Here is where it was ripped out. You barely could notice. Barely. There are a couple of marks on the top that were just deeper, and so the stain is like really in there. And so I actually left these. That was a decision on my part, because if I tried to sand them out, I would risk burning through the veneer. And burning through the veneer to me is way worse than keeping these marks and just having some of the natural wood stain, the original wood stain, show through. So again, burning through veneer was my main thing that I was avoiding. And look at that. If you didn't know it before, now you know what burn through veneer means. Look at that. That's pretty cool. You learned something. Yay! I also did the exact same process on the 3 inside drawers so that they would match the entire finish. I'm never gonna finish editing this video. Anyways, while my daughter and my brother sing the Itsy Bitsy Spider loudly, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like and comment what you think of this transformation. Thanks for sticking around, and here is an update that I wish I didn't have to share. Me and Bambi love it. This is not the update I was hoping to give you guys. I refinished that monster dresser back in October, and it will not sell. I've tried everything. I've tried relisting it every 2 weeks. I've tried lowering the price, raising the price. I thought for sure that the natural wood and the crazy veneer design would be really desirable, but it won't sell. So I think I'm gonna be painting it, and it breaks my heart. But I tried, you guys. I really, really tried. And I do not have the mental bandwidth to sand it all back down to bare wood and try a different stain color. So that's kind of out of the window. But I showed my followers on Instagram 4 colors and they all went crazy and heavily voted for Weather Vane. So what do you guys think about keeping the top natural and painting it Weather Vane? I haven't done anything that's not reversible, so if you really think that I should keep it natural and really wait on it longer, let me know. But I really, 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 really have been trying to sell this piece and it will not sell. So let me know. Thank you so much for sticking around for this video. I really appreciate all of your engagement. Likes, comments, subscriptions, they really help my channel so much, and I really appreciate you being here. This has been such a fun video. I hope you stick around for the next one by clicking that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!